Over the past couple of decades, Nintendo has created unique characters, unique worlds, and experiences for each one of us gamers. I have played Nintendo games for roughly 25 years. Now that's hundreds of games, tens of thousands of hours of my life in these games. And unfortunately, a lot of people might say that that's a waste and that I've just squandered my existence on this planet, but I would argue that Nintendo and their games, and video games in general, have actually inspired me, and they're a part of who I am and part of the characteristics that I possess. In these games, I've learned critical thinking through puzzle games. I've learned, obviously, the hand-eye coordination, but also, choosing right over wrong. Learning that life is about other people and not about me. And just experiencing a lot of this gameplay, leveling up, exploring worlds, and enjoying life in itself. In fact, a lot of these games like Zelda, they want me to go outside and explore the real world. And I've loved it. And I wanted to make this video today because recently Smash Bros. Ultimate was gifted to me over the holidays. And I learned something. That Nintendo has a lot of untapped potential in their intellectual property. So, for those of you who are looking for a Smash review, this isn't it. I will provide one shortly. I like to spend a couple of weeks or months with these games before I fully review them, just because you can't critique something in a day. You got to spend time with it. You got to invest it. So you will be getting a review. But that's besides the point. So I wanted to talk about Nintendo's untapped IP potential. Smash Brothers, there's 70, 75 characters that are unique in this game. And it's the biggest Smash that we've ever had, and it's so good. If you haven't played Smash, I highly recommend picking it up and playing it, because this game has been a huge improvement in the series. In my opinion, this should have been the sequel to Smash Bros. Melee on the GameCube. Let's get back to the point, okay? Untapped potential in Nintendo's IP. I've been unlocking a lot of characters. Yeah, I've finally unlocked them all. I actually did that a while ago, which got me thinking about this video. There's so many characters that I have unlocked where I have thought to myself, when was the last time we played this game? For example, Captain Falcon. When was the last time we played an F-Zero game? When was the last time they made an F-Zero game? And in fact, I actually got some information right here. Let's see. The last F-Zero game that we had that was not a re-release was back in 2004. That was almost 15 years ago. We haven't had a new F-Zero game in almost 15 years. That's ridiculous. I told you I've been playing Nintendo games for 25 years. And I think about 15 years, and that's not a lot of time. That's just one example. Captain Falcon is one example. What about Ness and Lucas? When was the last time we had a Mother game? Right here. Last time we had a Mother game was 2006. 13 years ago. WTF. What about this? What about this? What about this? King K. Rool. He's not like a game in himself, but we haven't seen that character since Donkey Kong 64. That was what, 20 years ago? Nintendo, what are you doing with these characters, man? There's so many of them. Let's see here. I'm on the page right now. There's 70 characters, including Piranha Plant. And some of them, they come from the same game. Others are Pokemon, so you can't really count them. But there are so many characters that it's like, when was the last time we saw those guys? When was the last time we played these games? Ice Climbers, man. Ice Climbers? What was that? NES? Those are the NES days. And you've got the nerve to throw them in this game 30 years later? I don't know if it's 30. I don't know. I'm not going to look that up. But something like that. I bring this up because Nintendo has a lot of characters that they have developed. And you know what's surprising is that some of these characters, they don't even have their own game. fans are in an uproar right now. They got the torches, they got the pitchforks, they're out there at the front door of Nintendo complaining that Waluigi is not in Smash Brothers.
Yeah!
And I'm with them, man. Where the heck's my Waluigi? But the funny thing is that Waluigi has never had his own game. He's always just been a filler character in these Mario games, like Mario Party, Mario Kart, Mario Tennis. He hasn't had his own game. And what's funny, Nintendo, I'm talking to you, Nintendo, is that the fans love Waluigi enough to get excited and unified together to try and get him in the game. We love Waluigi. Why? He's a weirdo. I mean, look at this guy. He's a freaking weirdo, man. Who wouldn't love him? But I wanted to talk to you specifically, Nintendo. I freaking love you guys. Thanks for everything that you've done for me over the years. But I feel like at times that when people think of Nintendo, they think of Mario and Zelda and occasionally Donkey Kong. So we just think of 3 games that you guys make. And a lot of times people don't want to buy a Nintendo system because, hey, I want to play more than just 2 games. In my mind, Switch is doing really good. They're bringing a lot of third-party games into their library, which is so smart, Nintendo. So you're making a lot of the great moves, okay? The problem is that you have to offer more of these exclusives, and you have a bunch of them. Don't get me wrong, you've got a lot of exclusives. But the problem is that we're not seeing a lot of these characters that we know and love. I mean, why are you going to throw Captain Falcon in Super Smash Brothers if there's no game? It's been 15 years since we've had a Captain Falcon game. There are kids who are playing Smash for the first time and have no idea who Captain Falcon is. He's just a dude in the game. When I was playing the original Smash Brothers on the 64, when it first came out, I didn't know who Ness was. I won't lie. I unlocked him and I was like, who's this dude? I thought I was going to unlock someone like Bowser or someone really cool at the very end because he was the last guy you unlocked. Nope, it was Ness. I had to go to school and ask around, who the heck is Ness? And then people told me, and then I learned a lot about Ness and Earthbound, or Mother for you Japanese people out there. So, what are we going to do about this? I think, now hear me out, Nintendo. Again, talking to you, Nintendo. Let's do something about this. You don't have to struggle about creating new IP. And in fact, I commend you on creating Splatoon. I don't really care for the game, but at least it's a new IP. And quite frankly, it's pretty successful. There's a lot of people who are excited and play that game. I'm not one of them. But good job creating new IP that people are passionate about. But let's remove the burden and the stress of creating new IP, and let's just make games for some of the characters that haven't had any attention over the last 15 years. Let's talk Captain Falcon for a minute, okay? Captain Falcon. Who hasn't in their right mind screamed,
Falcon punch!
Just sucker punch somebody in the face on the street? I know I have. Why don't we make a Captain Falcon game, Nintendo? But hear me out, right? F-Zero is a lot of fun. And to be perfectly frank, I'm more than positive Nintendo's actually developing an F-Zero game as we speak. Reggie, the president of Nintendo, he said that they're developing, I think it was like 25 games in-house for the Nintendo Switch. So I'm pretty sure that F-Zero falls under that umbrella, which I hope. But let's get real, all right? It's a racing game. It's like a sci-fi racing game, which are fun. I like racing games. They're not games that I continually play or go back and play, but they're there, and it's different, and I like that. But let's think outside of the box, right? Let's not just do an F-Zero game. I'm talking about a sci-fi adventure with Captain Falcon. Wouldn't that be dope? It could be a platformer, it could be 3D, it could be a lot of different things. You could even have elements of racing in the game. And it would be a lot of fun. You could go around Falcon punching everybody in the face. You could Captain Falcon kick everything. I think it'd be a unique take on the franchise. Captain Falcon the game. I'm picturing a lot of like Metroid atmosphere and settings. Could be really fun and a little bit different, and people could get to know Captain Falcon. Because here's the thing about F-Zero. Even if you play F-Zero, you don't really know Captain Falcon. He's just kind of a character. He's an icon next to the ship, and then you just race. So let's play. I want to play as Captain Falcon. I want to know what that dude's about. I want to know where he got that pink-white jumpsuit. Do you earn this in the game? I don't know. What about the King? I'm talking King K. Rool. You know, he hasn't been in a Donkey Kong game since DK64. That was re-released, mind you, re-released in 1999, 20 years ago. He was one of my most anticipated characters in Smash Brothers. But the last time we saw him was 20 years ago. 20 years ago in a game. The King. And sure, he's a villain, right? And I'm not like he's going to be the bad guy every time. But still, 20 years to see a character in a game is quite a long time. Mother. Let's talk about Mother. Let's talk about Earthbound. I really want to see a new Mother game, a new Earthbound, and so do many fans. I mean, you go to Reddit, you look at some of the rumors, things that people want. I think the big ones are Pikmin, Earthbound, and Animal Crossing. Those are like the big three right now. Well, Metroid, but we kind of know what's going on with Metroid right now, right? But those are the three that fans are highly anticipating. To be quite frank, I've never played Pikmin. It never really tickled my fancy in any way. Earthbound, though, was a lot of fun on the Super Nintendo. And Animal Crossing, you know, I'm gonna get some hate for this. I never played Animal Crossing, and I'm kind of upset about myself because that one seems like it's right up my alley. So I know that they're making it, and they had like a teaser trailer, which means it'll come out in 2 to 3 years. So let's hope. Let's be hopeful and pray that it comes a little bit earlier than that. Let's just take a moment, all right? Back on the Game Boy Classic days, this bad boy right here, there was a game called Wario Land, and Wario Land was so cool. And I might be wrong, but I think, I'm going to have to look this up, but I think that Wario, this was like his first introduction to the game, or to like Nintendo's franchise. And we knew that he was Mario's evil twin brother. And that was really exciting because we knew he had Luigi, but there's a third brother? There's a third Mario brother out there, and he's Mario's twin, and he's evil? Mario can't have an evil twin. He's the good guy. And I'm a little disappointed in the direction that they took the Wario character in these later franchises. Like the last 10, 15 years, they kind of made him out to be this like redneck fart blaster. And it's disappointing because as a kid, he was like pure evil in my mind. And Wario Land, I played that on the Game Boy, and it was really cool because it was like Mario Brothers, but like the bad version. And you felt really cool playing it because you were being the bad guy. Heck, maybe that's why Nintendo stopped making the game franchises, because little kids they got excited about being bad. But let's just think a little bit here, Nintendo. Instead of making a WarioWare game, I mean, go ahead, make another WarioWare game. There's people that love those. But let's talk about bringing back Wario Land. I haven't played that for 20, 25 years. This was Game Boy Classic days. This is like Link's Awakening time period. But you know what would be really fun? Is if you could play classic Wario in a Wario Land game. And it could be multiplayer, and you could be Waluigi. Right? Forget Super Mario Deluxe Wii U for the Switch. Forget about that crap, man. Let's be Wario on a platformer. Let's have that trippy side of Wario Land again. And let me be Waluigi too. And instead of saving the Mushroom Kingdom, let's take it over, man. For once, let's be the bad guy. Heck, the final boss battle could be Mario. Wouldn't that be really cool? Destroy Mario at the very end of the game, and you win. You take over the Mushroom Kingdom. That would be a lot of fun. That'd be a fresh take on the franchise. And one thing I really liked about Wario Land was that there was a lot of power-ups and a lot of things that were similar to Mario, but a little bit different, a little bit skewed. So that could be a lot of fun. And fans love this crap. I mean, look at Luigi's Mansion. That had a lot of success because here we are, we're finally playing as Luigi, who's been a secondary character for so long. And sure, we've had like a couple of Luigi games, but they weren't really big. Luigi's Mansion, man, for the first time we could put our feet in his shoes, see the world through that guy's eyes. And it was exciting. It was completely different. It was really fresh and exciting. Fans loved it. And I have to say, it's one of my favorite games on the Nintendo GameCube, and I'm thrilled to see that we're getting a third installment on the Switch. That was actually something that I have been hopeful since the release of the Switch, and Nintendo's actually doing it, so good job, Nintendo. We could talk about Metroid, but, you know, everybody knows it's not happening. We're not going to get it for 2 or 3 years, but I'm very grateful that Nintendo took the action of giving the franchise to Retro Studios again. They acknowledged that they weren't successful with it, and they would rather have someone else produce a higher quality game to play. So props to you, Nintendo, again. Thank you for doing that. You know, looking at the roster, I see some other characters that haven't had games and aren't even characters in games, like Rob the Robot. Now, that would be a dope game, to play Rob the Robot. It could even be a simple platformer game, right? And he was this really cool guy. For those of you that don't know, Rob the Robot was like an accessory for the Nintendo NES, and he was really kind of cool. I never had one. I wanted one. I never had one. I also didn't have a Power Glove either. But wouldn't it be cool to see a Rob the Robot game? What about Duck Hunt? We don't need a new one of those, but what about Duck Hunt? I was surprised that they didn't put Little Mac in the ARMS game. It was like, that doesn't make any sense, Nintendo. Why wouldn't you just have that as a character in the ARMS game? Anyways, those are a couple of ideas that I have for the franchises out there. Nintendo, you got a lot of characters, you got a lot of worlds, you've done a lot of cool things in the past. How about we bring some of those alive? How about you take some of these characters and give them their own game? I mean, I mentioned earlier that Waluigi would be cool in like a Wario Land game, but give Waluigi his own game, man. Put him in Smash. Do that, but also give him his own game. Don't throw him in as like an extra character. Like, let's see a Waluigi game. Let's do something about that. Make a Waluigi platformer game. Heck, no. I'll do you one better. 3D world, Waluigi takes over the Mushroom Kingdom. Boom. You can have that one for free, Nintendo. So I think Nintendo, with these characters, you don't have to worry about, the stress of creating new IP and keeping things fresh within the Nintendo universe. Look at the roster of characters that you have and think of awesome ideas that you can do with these characters. Give them their own game. Put the spotlight on them. And let's see where we can go.